Breaking news, lads and lasses. There is rumours circulating around that Newcastle United are on the verge of bringing David De Gea to Newcastle United. Would you like to see David De Gea at Newcastle United, or would you prefer us to stick with what we have right now, with the news that Nicky Pope is going to be out with a long-term injury? That long-term injury is, of course, a dislocated shoulder, which Eddie Howe said after the game against Man United at St James's Park. Of course, when we're seeing Nicky Pope going off with a physio holding his arm, it looked bad, and we are now hearing that it is going to be 4 to 5 months that he will be out for us. And that is really, really bad to hear, I've got to say. So, of course, Newcastle's already jumping into action. The board's already jumping into action to see if we can bring in an emergency goalkeeper. But I say we've already got quality there that is capable of doing the job in that time period. We've got Martin Dubravka there, ex-Newcastle United #1 goalkeeper, somebody that was leading the line in the sticks for Newcastle United before, of course, Nicky Pope came along. And then, of course, we've got ex-Liverpool goalkeeper in there as well, Loris Karius. So do we have enough quality there in the goalkeeping department? Not to mention, of course, Mark Gillespie there as well, and the youngsters as well for the goalkeeping department. So do we have enough quality there to see us through the time that Nicky Pope will be out for? I believe we do. Would we be better off bringing David De Gea in? Maybe. But there is a chance that David De Gea could not hit the ground running coming into the club. And there's a stumbling block as well, that at Man United, before he was released onto a free transfer, of course, he was on 350 grand a week. That is a lot of money. I'm sure he's going to want somewhere around that amount of money. And if not, then it's probably going to be at least close to 100 grand a week. Is that what we want to be paying out right now? Yes, money's no question at the end of the day, but do we want to be paying out at least 100 grand a week for a player that is only going to be used for about 4 to 5 months? There's a chance, of course, that he could then be, kept on as a goalkeeper. Probably Martin Dubravka moving on, or another goalkeeper moving on, and then him being the backup goalkeeper behind Nicky Pope. But is David De Gea then going to want to be a backup goalkeeper to Nicky Pope? I don't see it being the case. So, in my eyes, I think this could be a bad move for us. I believe we should stick with what we've got right now. And talking about the injuries as well going on at Newcastle right now, to go a little bit off subject, unfortunately, but to talk about the injuries going on at Newcastle right now, we are starting to see some of these players coming back as well. We will start to see the likes of Callum Wilson coming back into the squad pretty soon. Joe Willock coming back in, who was back but then back out on the injury list. Sean Longstaff as well, we'll see him start coming back into the side as well. Not to mention the likes of Harvey Barnes, Elliot Anderson, who's dealing with a back problem right now, broken bone in his back apparently. Sven Botman coming back into the side as well pretty soon. So we are going to see these injured players coming back into the side. So what I want to see is, I don't want to see we're going into this January transfer window, which is only around the corner, because we are now in the December period. So that January transfer window is just around the corner, of course. And we don't want to be going into that January transfer window and, spending on areas that we do not need to improve on. We definitely need to be using that money wisely. And I'm sure, not to question Dan Ashworth in the scouting team at Newcastle United, but I'm sure they will be doing their utmost to make sure that that money in the January transfer window gets spent on the right areas, and areas that will take us further forward again in this window, because that's what it's about with the January transfer window, the summer window, every transfer window. We need to always be, making that next step forward, next step forward, next step forward, because we've got to catch up to the likes of Manchester City. We've already beat them, of course, this season in the Cup. We've beat Man United in the Cup. We've beat Man United quite a few times this season already. We've beat Chelsea. The only one who is still staying away from being beaten by us is Liverpool. They will be beaten by us eventually. But looking at this news, cannot be ignored. The news circulating around about David De Gea to Newcastle United on a free. The only stickling point for me would be the fact that he could be asking massive wages. And if that is the case, then, is he any better than Martin Dubravka? Is he any better than Loris Karius? My question is no. I say no to that. I say he isn't better than Martin Dubravka. He maybe could be better than Loris Karius, but Martin Dubravka is a fantastic goalkeeper. He deserves his chance to be given this opportunity to show that he still has the ability that we all praised him for over the years since he came into the club. Of course, I think it was under Rafa Benitez when he came into the club, and of course around the same time as Fabian Schär came into the club as well. Two fantastic buys, two fantastic players that have been for Newcastle, and two brilliant servants. Unfortunately, of course, my thoughts on Martin Dubravka when he went off to Man United on loan and his disrespectful comments, but I'm willing to put all of that in the past, because this lad can do the business when he is called upon, and give him his chance. Let's not be like the other clubs out there, where they run out and spend money needlessly on players that aren't needed, right now. So let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Would you take David De Gea, or would you stick with Martin Dubravka and Loris Karius as the backups for the next 4 to 5 months? And it could be even shorter as well if Nicky Pope recovers in a lot of quicker period. We have seen it before. He has had a dislocated shoulder before as well. Before he came to Newcastle, he had a dislocated shoulder, according to what Eddie Howe has said. So, he has been here before. He will know how to rehabilitate quicker on this sort of thing. And of course, this is an area that is always going to be a niggling point for goalkeepers as well. If it had been any other area of the field, it wouldn't have been too much of a problem. But with a goalkeeper, a dislocated shoulder is always going to be a problem area, and it is always going to be a serious injury for a player, of course, like a goalkeeper, because they're always going to be landing on their shoulders, on their sides, and it's just going to cause a lot of trouble for a goalkeeper. But let us know your thoughts anyway down in the comments below. Till next time, remember, like, share, subscribe to 100% Mags, and hopefully I've been liking the content, and I'll see you all in the next one. Away the lads.